Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss about class and object in detail. So what is exactly the definition of class in Java? So class is a block. Class can have class members as variables, methods, constructors, etc. One Java program can have multiple classes and one class shall have one main method. At least one class should have one main method. So as we discussed and we saw many scenarios till now, we executed few simple programs. So what we did, we created a simple Java class. Without a class we cannot even execute a single program in Java. So compulsorily we need to create a class and we need to give a class name. The moment we will create a class, what will happen, as we already saw class creation part. Let me just go back to Eclipse again. One sec. Yes. So let us go back to the same project, Core Java project 1, and here we will just check what will happen when we will create a class. So let me just create a class over here again. Let's say it is test demo class, and one Java program can have multiple class, at least one class. If we are creating at least one class in a Java program, that class must be the main class. That means we need to enable main method over here, or we need to write public static void main inside if we are not enabling over here. So let me click on, so let me enable from here as the main method inside the class, and let us click on finish. We got the template code. Now we will just check what if I will create a class and execute, where exactly the code will get saved. Before going to that particular part, let us analyze how exactly it is getting reflected in our package explorer. So the class which we created over here is test demo class. Now can you able to see one file over here, testdemo.java? Here, this is testdemo.java. That means once you will create a class, that is main class, then name of the file must be similar to the main class. So now our main class is testdemo, so the file name is testdemo.java. Now inside the testdemo, let us execute sample statement. So I just gave some dummy string value over here, and that is inside the main method. So let us execute it. We already saw such code. So what will happen over here, I can able to see the string in console because it is inside the simple print statement. Why I wrote a random script or random program? Just to analyze how exactly the file is getting maintained in Drive. So how can I check the file path? I'll just right click over here. Let me go to properties. The moment I'll click on properties, I can see the folder structure. Where exactly my file is saved? Here, just see. C drive. Luna workspace is my default workspace. Core Java project 1 is the project name. Inside SRC, we created the class called test demo. So, the file name is testdemo.java. Now, let us go back and check whether the file exists there or not. So, how can I check it? Let me just take the things from here. Okay, even if it is not from here, let us check. One sec. Yeah, let us go back. Now this is the C drive. Now my default workspace is Luna workspace. Now the project itself is, the project is Core Java project 1. This is what the project, I think you can able to see. If I will open, you can able to see the SRC folder. If you will open, see this test demo class which we created over here. See this is the code I wrote. Now I am accessing the code from the drive. Now can I update the code directly from here? This is a text file. So sysout will not happen over here because shortcut keys will not work. It is not an IDE now. I am just trying whether I can update it from here or not. Now I just, let me save it. I just closed. Now let me refresh. Yeah, can you able to see the code is reflecting? Yes. So that means that is the file path where we can able to access the file in flat form, text file form, notepad format or file format, where the extension of the file you cannot able to see directly from there. It is .java. Okay, and you can able to write, enhance the code from there also. It will again reflect in the IDE if you will refresh the IDE. Now if I will execute, I can see both the statements. I can see both the statements. The second one I updated from the drive path or the project folder. Fine. Now what is exactly object we need to understand now, and why we need to create an object. So let me just open the document just to understand what is object. So what is object? Object is the instance of the class. Why we need to create an object? We need to create an object to access the class members outside the class. That is what, through object we can access the class members outside the class. Now how many objects we can able to create for a particular class? We can create multiple objects for a single class as per our requirement. So we can create multiple objects as per our requirement. So when we are trying to use object, at least we are talking about multiple classes. So when we will be using multiple classes, then only object will come into the picture. where a particular class member which is inside a specific class, if I want to use those members outside that particular class, I need to create the object. Fine. So, let us see the scenario for creation of object and accessing the class members outside the class. Let us create a simple scenario. Let's say my test object. That is what the main class. I am treating this as main class. Now, let me delete the unwanted data. Sorry, yeah, I deleted the unwanted data. Yes, fine. So, what is the class name? My test object is the class name. Now, if my test object is the class name and I need to create some class members, fine, and I need to use the class members outside the class. So, let us think about a specific scenario which we can define like this. Let us say create a class outside the main class named as test class members. Fine, and access the class members from main class. This is what the scenario. So, as we understood what is exactly class member can be normal variable, array, constructor, method, though we have not spoke about constructor method till now, but if you have some idea about C++, you may relate to it. Otherwise, we will see what is exactly constructor and methods in the next upcoming videos. Fine. So, understanding creation of class member is something like, according to the requirement, I should create another one class. Let us say the class name has been is defined over here, test class members. The class name is test class members. So, I will just create a class called test class members. Yes. Now, create the class members. So, I will just create some class members like integer, emp, id. I will just give some values, then I will just create something called emp name. I will just give the value, then sorry, yeah, then I will just give some other value like double emp salary. I will just give some value, let us say I gave some value, right. Now, these are all the class members, which are inside this test class members class. Fine. So, how can I access these class members outside the class? That is what the scenario is asking us to do. Now, my job is to access employee ID, employee name and employee salary outside the class, means from the main class, So, what I need to do is, I need to create the instance of the test class members. So, create the object for test class members. How can I create the object for test class members class? Test class members object equal to new test class members. This is the way we can create the object. Now, this a simple interview question which is usually expected for core Java participants. That is, what will happen if we will create a object for the class? The answer is the default constructor will be called. The default constructor will be called. To understand it better, we need to work on constructor. We need to understand what is exactly a constructor. We will just discuss in upcoming videos. Just it came to my mind because I created an object over here. So now by using this object I can access the value. So let me just say access the class members. So how can I access the class members? What are all the class members? One is employee ID. So I can say I'll just say I can use this object dot. You can able to see the employee ID which is accessible, but employee ID is the part of the next class. It is not the part of the main class. Now sys out. I can say val of employee name. Yes. So sorry. Yeah. So employee name, that is one thing. Next one is now val of employee salary. So how can I get the employee salary? Through object. So object is obj dot. You can able to see employee salary. So all the members are successfully accessed by the main class. Which are the members of the other class? The class name is completely different from the main class, that is test class members. Fine. Now how can I say whether it is accessible or not? Unless until I am not executing, I may not able to say that. So I should execute the code called my test objects. So let me just execute. Say yes. Yes. So I can able to see the console values. Value of employee ID, name and salary, everything it is accessible from the other class by using object. So this is what all about creation of the object, objective of using object, why we need to create a object, and how can we create an object, what is the correct position to create an object, whether we can create an object in the same class or not. So if I will I'll just give one more input over here. Let me just disable this. Try to create the object in the similar class. So let me just copy and paste the statement. Now let us copy and paste it on the next class, that is the class members. This is what. Yes, for now let me just I'm just trying to create it in the similar class. So even if it is not showing the error over here, but the thing is that you can see the error message. See this, object cannot be resolved to a variable. So that is not, this object is not accessible from the main class. So it is a best practice to create the object always in the main class. So I should not create it over here, I should create it over here. So this is what the statement I need to enable. Fine. Now let me execute it once again. So I got all the information from the next class. Yes, fine. So I hope it is clear for everyone why we are creating an object, what is exactly the object, what is the purpose of object, where to create the object, how can I access the class members by using object outside the class. I think everything is clear in a singleton class. fine. So thank you for watching this video. Happy learning.